I'm sure many of us know what humor is. And of course, humor is something very related to language. That's why translation is a big part of humor. In today's video, we would like to explain on how humor and translation meet together. Now, first of all, let's talk about the purpose of translating humor. Of course, we know translation is moving one language to another. But with humor, that process is not as simple because, as Delia Chiarco at 2010 said, the main goal of translating humor is to make audience laugh or smile, just like the source language audience. And hence, Wiemer said that translation must be in accordance to the purpose of the text in the target culture, while Ernst August Gutt said that translating humor aims to recreate an equivalent cognitive impact, namely a similar mental or emotional effect on the reader/viewer. From what we can grasp from these professionals in the field, translating humor is not simply about A to B. It's transforming A to something that B can understand because humor, again, is very directed to language and culture. Now, a couple of relevant researches and sources as follows, as Delia Chiarco said, translation humor media, Dirk de la Bastida talking about wordplay and translation, Patrick Zabayaskao translating jokes for dubs TV sitcoms, and Joran van Dyle introduction, reconstruction, humor, meanings, and meaning. Now, if you want to delve slightly deeper into these translation theories, Skipper's theory, according to Hans Vermeer, 1978, the translator adapts the humor based on the target's audience cultural background to preserve effect, not form. But what we can grasp from this uh, meaning is that humor is not keeping the form of the text, it's keeping the effect of the text. So while some jokes might be very similar in form, some jokes would drastically change because simply keeping the same form would not have the same impact. After that, we have the relevance theory. The relevance theory by Sipperber D. Wilson D. 1986 helps explain why some humor is lost or altered in translation. It doesn't create the same effect in new culture/linguistic context. Again, that goes back to Skipper's theory of how cultural background has a big effect on translation of humor. While lastly, De La Vista's topology of wordplay, Dick De La Vista, 1998, offers a direct tool for analyzing humor language, particularly puns. Sometimes puns become puns, sometimes puns become non puns, while some puns become related rhetorical devices, while some puns become footnotes.
Example, the first one is Scopus theory. It is called a hustle, sweetheart. Namanya trik licik manis. So this line is taken from animated film Zootopia, and in the source language, it is short, sarcastic, and playful. The Indonesian translation, namanya trik licik manis, it is not literal, but it's captured the same tone. So the strategy is localize idiomatic expression to keep the tone light and still sarcastic. And the technique used is adaptation because the translator adapt the joke so it still feels natural, witty, and fitting for the character in the target culture. The next one is relevant theory. Come on, let's get moving. We are not frozen in place after all. Translated into sudah di sini cukup lama. Kalau masih belum juga beraktivitas dan menggerakkan otot tulang, sepertinya bisa jamuran. So this line is taken from the character interaction in game Genshin Impact. And also this line shows how translator take audience interference into account. Rather than translating frozen in place directly, like into beku di tempat, the translator replace it with sepertinya bisa jamuran, which is a humorous and culturally familiar with exaggerating in Indonesia. Also, the technique used is cultural substitution and amplification. So, according to relevant theory, a successful translation ensures the message is easily processed and relevant to audience background. So, the translator choose a metaphor, jamuran, that the Indonesian audience would find funny and clear. Better be out than in, I always say. Lebih baik dikeluarkan daripada ditahan. Begitulah kataku. So this joke is taken from Shrek film and involves wordplay around bodily function. In English, it plays on a casual idiom with double meaning. The Indonesian translation avoids a direct pun but retains the humorous tone using an equivalent expression. So the strategy used in here is pun into related rhetorical devices, and the technique used is literal translation actually. So de la Bastida typology classify this as replacing a pun with another rhetorical tool. In this case, a blunt statement that still makes people laugh